everybody, it's Carly with Action Figure Fury, and today we're going to be reviewing the Star Wars Force Awakens Takodana Encounter set. We're going to go ahead and start off with the packaging. Alrighty, so for the packaging, we have this nice big window that showcases all of the figures and their accessories, and has this really cool hand-drawn poster-style image of the characters along the side, which is repeated on this side panel. The other side isn't as exciting, still pretty cool. It's a continuation of Rey's lightsaber with the castle on Takodana in the background. The back is probably pretty cool despite all of the legal warning nonsense. It has some nice sized images of the characters and a little description of each of them from the film. Thought that was a cool touch. The bottom has just boring nonsense, and that's about it for packaging. Let's open it up. Alright, here they are out of the package. No problems getting them out. The package was good, protected them well. Let's go ahead and start off with Finn. Alrighty, so here's Finn out of the package. As you can tell, he's not got a lot going on paint-wise, so let's start off with the sculpt. I love the amount of texture details that they put into this entire set. You can see it especially well on his shirt. Yeah, there you go. It looks like a knit shirt. It's really cool. His pants have a ton of wrinkles and folds. It looks very realistic. His jacket as well. I'm also a big fan of the face sculpt on this guy, especially compared to Rey. I'll show you later. He looks upset, but I mean, given the circumstances, it makes a lot of sense. It also looks like he got socked in the jaw, and so he's got some like minor swelling going on, but it's nothing too noticeable. I wouldn't really worry about it. The paint is pretty simple, mostly all black with these grayish white shoes, and the jacket, which is largely beige with these nice touches of red and silver. I thought the little silver zipper was a cool touch. His hair, though textured and really cool, you can see his scalp through it, and that's kind of distracting. It looks like he's experiencing some male pattern baldness. But, you know, it could be a lot worse. At least there's no, like, weird bleeding over his ears or onto his neck or anything like that, as you will see with Maz. His articulation is pretty much what you would expect with 3 3/4 figures, 360-degree arm rotation, and his legs go about to here, not too far, and about here backwards. It's limited by his jacket, which is a soft plastic, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of worth it. I mean, how often does a stormtrooper need to do the splits anyways? He comes with a blaster accessory that's all silver plastic, no paint, but the sculpt is so detailed. It looks excellent. You can see that nice grip near the end, all of the different levers and switches and stuff that come with high-tech blasters. I really liked it. Simple, but well done. So that was Finn. Overall, the sculpt was pretty excellent. There were some pretty bad paint problems that it's really hard for me to look over. Paint is kind of my thing. So moving on from that, let's hope that BB8 has some better paint. Alrighty, so here's BB8. For such a simple figure, he does have a lot of texture going on. You can see the metal panels that are supposed to be etched into the sculpt along with the rivets that would hold them in place. I thought that was a nice tactile touch. It's continued all the way down to the bottom, and especially on the head there's a lot going on sculpt-wise. You can feel the detail in this metal rim, and he's got these two little soft plastic antennas, which unfortunately were kind of bent in the package, but they're easy enough to fix, so that's not really a big deal. He has some pretty exciting, like almost like secret articulation. I wouldn't have ever guessed, but instead of just being able to rotate his head, you can like move it side to side, pivot it, even like turn it into a sort of oval shape, but it could be a circle if you're being generous. And I thought that that was really cool, really nice touch for the figure that otherwise doesn't have too much going on. The paint left some to be desired. If you can tell, it looks like they stamped the orange and silver paint on just like completely wrong. You can tell the silver is supposed to start where that white line is, and the orange is supposed to start where that white line is, but it's just off center. It's pretty bad over here as well. For a figure that doesn't have a lot of paint, I feel like they should have taken the time to do it correctly, which is a little bit of a bummer, but overall, he's not really like the paint poster child of this set. So that was BB8. And, you know, there wasn't enough paint on this figure for the paint to be as screwed up as it was, which is pretty disappointing. The secret articulation was a nice touch, but it didn't save it overall. Let's move on to my favorite figure and talk about how awesome she is. Alrighty, so here we have Maz out of the box. She is far and away my favorite figure in the entire set. She's just got so much going on. We've got texture, paint, texture. We got so many textures we don't know what to do with them. Starting from the top, you can see her forehead wrinkles. I thought that was such an amazing tiny little touch. You can feel them and see them. Her hat also has a lot of texture detail as well. It looks, you know, really realistic. Her goggles also had a lot of really cool details, but my favorite part of the goggles is that they move. You can see her creepy little eyes. It's so cool. They're made out of a soft plastic, so you can move them temporarily. It doesn't stay like that, but I thought that was a really, really cool touch anyways. If you are gonna try and move them or something for a pose, just make sure when you press it back, you like really press it. It is a soft plastic and it might bend out of shape if you do that too often. Other than that, her nose and her mouth looked like they did in the movie, and her neck has a lot of like old wrinkles on it. Thought that was a really cool touch as well. All of her clothing is textured. Her vest has this like cable texture. Her really awesome teal shirt has like actual like knitting texture. It looks like a sweater or something. It's super cool. She's got like even more texture on the front. Don't even know what to call that. And then a 3D raised necklace, super cool. And then just like look at all this other stuff going on. We got bracelets, we got rings, we got belts, we got things hanging off belts. We got things hanging off belts. It's just so much going on. Even got a belt buckle with like detail that is so small I can't hardly see it, but they included it anyways. Thought that was a really nice touch. Her boots also have a lot going on. We have that cool pink stripe across. We have 2 different textures here, and like that nice leather feeling toe tips. For paint, however, though she is the coolest and most colorful figure, there are some serious issues. Her neck is not even close to the same color as her face, and her hands are the same color as her neck, and thus not the same color as her face. And the blue of her shirt got everywhere, like literally everywhere. It's on her neck, everywhere on her neck. It's on her arm. Look how bad that is. Like, that is like shockingly bad. There we go. Eek. And it's even on her belt buckle that I was just showing you. The funny thing is, even though there's blue paint everywhere, that necklace is perfectly fine. They didn't get any on the necklace that is actually touching the shirt. I don't know how. The bracelets and rings also were pretty clean cut when it comes to the paint. I thought that was a nice touch. Along with all of the stuff on her belt. No bleeding or smudging or anything there. So, the worst part, the absolute most awful thing they could have done is this right here. That metallic silver stamp they put on her leg. They picked the darkest color and stamped the most reflective, brightest color they could on it. I don't know why 60671 was so dang important. They thought they should ruin the awesome paint of this figure, but they done did it anyways. Not stoked. Moving on to articulation before I just like throw this at Hasbro. Her arms, like Finn, rotate 360 degrees. And she has the most articulation leg-wise. They go way up here and way back there. Check that out. I thought that was pretty impressive. So that, coupled with her moving goggles, definitely my favorite figure. So, moving on to her accessories. She has like the second most amount of accessories, which I thought was really cool. She has a little blaster, very similar to Finn's, being that it has a lot of nice detail, but it's just silver plastic, no paint. Fits pretty well into her little hand. She also comes with this chest. If it looks familiar, it's the chest that Rey found the lightsaber in at her castle on Takodana. It opens with this soft plastic latch, and you can fit the lightsaber hilt that she comes with inside and close it, and it looks like totally fine. I thought that was so cool. 2 accessories that go together and work well separate. I can't tell you how many different poses I've done with this just for fun. I think I'll just not tell you actually. Anyways, moving on to Rey. Alright, so that was Maz. You know, she's my favorite figure of the set, but unfortunately that doesn't mean she didn't have her fair share of mistakes, largely in the paint area. They were somewhat unforgivably bad. So let's move on and talk about Rey. Alrighty, here is Rey out of the box, and although she is the lead character of The Force Awakens, she is definitely not the shining star of this set. The paint especially left a lot to be desired, and her articulation was the most limited of all. However, we're just going to start at the sculpt, and I will show you as we go. So, the hair is alright, except for these weird lumpy things coming down the side. I know it's supposed to look like her in the movie, but it just doesn't. Same with her face. It looks like someone tried to make it from memory, having only seen Daisy Ridley once. Her clothes have a lot of nice texture detail. Nothing as exciting as Maz, but, you know, still nice. I really like the arm wraps on here. They've got a lot going on. It's cool. Other than that, pretty simple, more of the same down to the bottom. The shoes are pretty nice. They have some cool detail there, but the paint leaves a lot to be desired. So as you can tell, she's got a white splotch on her heel and white skin tone color on her boots, and the other way around, boot color onto her skin tone. And then whatever this thing is on her pouch is really, really frustrating to me. It looks like this brown paint got on here or something. I don't know if I can get it off, but you know, I shouldn't have to try. Just do it right. Anyways, so let's just move on past that, since the rest of her is just beige, on to articulation. Just like the other 2 humanoid figures, her arms move 360 degrees, and her legs are very limited. We can move this leg up this far, this leg up that far, but backwards, this is what you're getting. That is as far as it goes because of that pouch there, which is a nice detail, but I'm not willing to sacrifice articulation for one little, pouch thing. This leg, however, has slightly more movement, but not really that much more. Kind of disappointing, but at least you can move them forwards. So let's talk about the accessories. She's got, obviously, a lightsaber, which is super cool. The sculpt is super nice. You can see this, energy beam pulsing stuff at the bottom. And just a really nice classic lightsaber hilt, just silver with some black lines. I really like how they did this with a translucent blue plastic instead of just painting it blue. It looks really realistic, just like an, energy sword would, Her staff is black with white bands on it, and this strap, you can put it over her shoulder, but it bends the whole thing out of shape. I wouldn't recommend it. If you just sling it over one arm, it looks alright, but it doesn't really stay on. But it does have some nice texture details. The tip, you can see, it's got I don't know, looks like it would hurt if you hit someone with it, that's for sure. And same with the bottom. Alright, so she came with this really interesting backpack thing. And it's all soft plastic, all this brown color. No paint really, just, it does have a lot of detail, but it looks kind of weird that it's got a bunch of detail and no paint at all. It works for the blaster, doesn't really work for the backpack. So the way that you do it is you poke these little pegs into these little holes, but one of them is super, super flimsy, and I'm afraid I'm gonna break it off every time I do this. Yeah, it won't even go in there. Well, see, you can see it's all wonky. I'll try and do that again. No. Anyways, this is how it's supposed to look. If I can... There we go. That is what's supposed to happen on both sides. It's really easy to put on her, and, there we go. She's got a backpack. Nothing too exciting there. It is kind of annoying that they made the little nubs out of soft plastic as well. If they made out of hard plastic, it would have been infinitely easier to use. But you know, overall, she came with 3 accessories, and I think that's pretty cool for a 3 3/4 figure. Alright, and so that was Ray. You know, she's got a lot of really cool accessories. Unfortunately, the really detailed sculpt limited her articulation, and she doesn't have any really cool paint to outweigh that, so that was kind of disappointing. Okay, overall, I felt the sculpt was definitely the best part of this set. There's a lot of really cool details, especially on the clothes, the wrinkles and folds. It's very realistic. Unfortunately, the paint, though really awesome in some cases, had some really bad mistakes that were hard to look past. So overall, I would probably say that this is a good set for Star Wars fans and 3 3/4 collectors. But if you're into a higher quality action figure collection, I would probably skip this one. I personally had a blast playing with these guys, setting them up and reviewing them, and so I'd give them a 3.5 out of 5. If you think that I'm being too nice because I'm biased because I love Star Wars, let me know.